All right, hey guys. So this is your video lesson for lesson 5.2 in AP Stats. This one's about simulation. So one of the things when you watch 5.1, what I want to talk about is I could just give you a page with all the formulas and do a PowerPoint slideshow and just walk through thousands upon thousands upon thousands of practice problems. And I don't think that's that useful because you're going to get confused on everything. So instead, what we're going to do is talk about simulation. Simulation is a method that we can use to help us with probabilities. So specifically when we're looking at it, what are we doing in this lesson? We're going to use simulation to estimate the probability of an event. We are also going to understand what it means for a result to be statistically significant. Again, statistically significant. It is not going away. You can read through all of this. You definitely can. And what you're going to see is that you have your notes here. Again, you could just copy them down, but I would still recommend watching this because I'm going to go through them. So what we have here is Pepsi running a contest for their 20-ounce bottle of soda. Some of the caps said, please play again, while others said 20-ounce, get one free. Pepsi advertised the promotion with the slogan, 1 in 6 wins a prize. So we have Mrs. Gallus's class. Actually, I think if you look on the Google Classroom, I just forgot to update it on the notes. It should be Mr. Gomez's class, so he's playing it. Whoever's class. Wonders if the company's claim is true. To find out, all 30 students in the class go to the store and each buys one 20-ounce bottle of soda. And what we find here is that 2 of the 30 students get caps that are winners. Now, what we should look at is for number 1, how many winners would you expect to get out of a class of 30 if it's a 1 in 6 wins a prize? We would expect 5 winners here. But to answer the question, is it guaranteed? It's not guaranteed to get exactly 5 winners. So real quick, because again, I told you I'm not going to do a lot of formulas. You would do your class size times the odds, right? And what I want to point out here is we want to know, does the class result give convincing evidence that the company's 1 in 6 claims is a lie? Well, we have some evidence. I would say we have some evidence. And why? That's what I want you to think about. Why is there some evidence that Pepsi is lying? The reason that goes in my head is because 2 is less than 5. This class here only got 2 winners. We expected 5. It's not guaranteed to get 5 winners. But I think we expected more than 2. So what's up with that? So let's focus in on that. We're going to use a simulation. And the big thing here, couple ideas. Simulation. We're going to assume Pepsi's telling the truth. So we're going to assume, okay, everything is what it's supposed to be. Pepsi is not lying to us. So what are we doing? Well, we're going to determine that, and if they're telling the truth, what's the probability of getting 2 or fewer winners in a class of 30 purely by chance? Let's find out. Okay, what's the easiest thing you would think of that models a 1 in 6 probability in real life? For me, it's rolling a dice. And now, one thing you have to do, and this is something AP expects you to do, it's something I expect you to do, a good statistician always does this. We're going to assign certain outcomes to losers and winners. Our winners are going to be assigned the 1. Because if you ain't first, you're last, right? So everything else, that is going to be our losers. Now, you would want to state out that the losers are not everything else. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because once we roll our dice, we want to see did they get a 1 or are we a 2, 3, 4? They each have their own number assigned on each side. We just want to assign what that number means in this simulation. Now, I highly recommend just going to Google and doing a dice simulator and rolling 30 times. Now you can see I do have trials here, which is fine because I want to model it for you. But what I want you to do, just think about as you're going through, okay, roll a dice 30 times. Here's a really cool thing you can do. You can just add 30, this may work. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Whatever. Okay, so no, that's not at all what I wanted to do. Let's try this again. I was thinking I could just add more dice. Oh, I have to do this. Okay. So I could just add, what do we have, 12? Do I have 30 dice here? $30 dice here. Cool. So now I have 30 dice. And I'm going to see how many of them are winners. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I go do my dot plot. Now, if we were doing this as a whole class, and you guys are more than welcome to if you want to convince people to go as a whole class if you're in a class setting. But you would roll twice. Everyone's going to roll twice. So boom. Boom. Here I have 1, 2, 3. Oh, imagine 4 winners again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I have 7 winners. So anyways, you can see. So I had 1. I did 4 for both here. So here's a dot plot. Here's an example of when I did it a long time ago. My dot plot with my simulated winners. What we want to look at is based on the dot plot, what's the probability of getting 2 or fewer prizes purely by chance? I hope you would agree this is by chance. So we can see here that I have the class results are everything 2 or less. And so you would add up however many you have. Here we have, oh, I think I'm missing one. Yeah, I was missing one. So we have 6 out of 50, which equals 0.12 or a 12% chance. So what your process for thinking now is purely by chance, 12% of our results were what the class happened. So does it seem plausible that Pepsi's telling the truth? And yeah, it seems plausible. It is plausible that Pepsi is telling the truth. But why? Why is it plausible? It's because this idea of and the class result happened by chance. Now, let's talk about that because we have some math behind that. 12% greater than 5%, which means that the result, our class result, was not statistically significant. That class result is not statistically significant. Okay, so doing all this here, let's look at our quick notes. Okay, so again, this whole idea here, and I'm sorry not here to do it with you. You can do it on your own though. You'll probably see here that no matter what, you're gonna have it. It's just chance, right? Getting 2 or less. So big ideas here. Simulation. What simulation is it's a way to model random events such that simulated outcomes closely match real-world outcomes. And one of the ideas here is you can just roll a die. You can toss a coin. You can use an applet. Again, AP exam, you can't really use an applet. So I think this one's like my least favorite way, but like it is a real way to do it if you were just doing stats in the real world. Um, Random number generator, it's another way to do simulation, right? But basically you want to focus probably on these two. These are two really good simulators. But just think, if you don't even want to remember that definition, it's an imitation of chance behavior. The other thing we have with this is we use simulations to help us have evidence for a claim. So when we're looking at the Pepsi one, are they lying or are they telling the truth? What we're looking at is we assumed a claim is true. So we assumed Pepsi was telling the truth, that yes, it is just 1 in 6 odds. Find the probability of getting the observed result or more extreme. So in this case, more extreme was less, right? Because those people weren't winning as often. So we wanted to see what is the extreme end. You could also have extreme be the upper end, like 9 or more. You just have to depend on the situation and what your context is. So we assume a claim is true, and then we find the probability of getting the observed result or more extreme. Our observed result was the class of result of 2 from the beginning of the problem, and we saw more than 5%. If it's less than 5%, it means it's statistically significant. It also means we have convincing evidence against the claim. All right, so then I would really recommend doing these here. I don't have a key for you yet, but do this here, check your understanding. It's the same idea. I don't think you have to do any simulations, but it does go through and ask you to do all the things we did and talk through everything. So probably do this again as a bell ringer as well, but those are your video notes for 5.2. I'll see you in 5.3.